That's hard.
Had the Plainfield North, we have South, East, and Central. Okay, sure. Because in the 1900s, around that time frame, Plainfield was hit by a big tornado, a giant tornado, and it wiped out almost off the map. So during the tornado, it struck our main high school. And when it struck our main high school, all the middle school, while there's middle school.
All right, we'll start in 5 minutes. So I'll be right back.
I was upset. Like, you guys are still alive. So I'm better now, but I'm like, worst thing is okay, actually Jordan's gonna get TP for real this time. Bet. I hope they come back and I see him. I'm gonna spray them all down. You can't be. Yeah, that's it. Natalia, she wants to. Two more weeks. Go ahead. Yeah, so but the problem is that a thing, but that ends at 12:40. So I have a lot of time to work this day. You called off 2 rank. So I think I'll just say 2. Last I talked with Sunday.
All right. Welcome, you guys. I'll keep my part fairly brief. We're going to do you guys' inauguration for those of you who are present. We have some introductions. Patrick is going to come up and introduce himself. And then Nikhil is going to give kind of a how-to senator presentation for you guys. And then we'll have committee breakout meetings. So if you have not chosen your committee that you want to serve on, do it now in the email that I sent earlier, or else I'll just pick research for you. So we'll get started right away. So if all the senators would like to stand. And you get to raise your right hand with me. So I will say it. We will repeat. So I, Senator, your name. I, Senator. Do hereby affirm. That I shall justly support and defend. The Constitution and bylaws of the student government. Of the Illinois Institute of Technology. I vow to fulfill my obligations. To my constituents. And my duties. As a senator to the best of my ability. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. I promise you that is the most awkward you will have to be as a senator. So with that, I will invite up Patrick. Patrick is the director of student life. He's also our advisor. So I'm just going to ask him to talk a little bit about what he does.
So hi, everyone. Congratulations. You're full-blown senators now.
Yeah.
Ready to vote and make action happen on campus? Yes? Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, as Derek said, my name is Patrick. I work in the MTCC. I'm the director of student life. And you're probably like, what is that? What does that mean? At one point in time, it was called campus life here. I joined, actually, how many of you are first years? Okay, cool. So this is going to be our first full academic year together. I started in March. I came in for a lot of like robust discussion towards the end of last year's student government kind of Senate and all the things happening then. I previously worked at a university in Ohio, and then believe it or not, before that, I worked at Illinois Tech from 2015 to 2020. So it's kind of this unique, some of the things are the same, but a lot of things are different in really exciting ways. And I wanted to be a part of this community, get to work with things like SGA again. What would you like to know? Do you want an overview of what my office is, what my role is with SGA, and then we'll call it so you can get into how to be a senator? Does that work? Great. I appreciate nonverbals. So student life is responsible for supporting all of our student organizations. So how many of you are in a student org? You're all in SGA, so all of you can put your hands up. There we go. Perfect. So what that means is we kind of get to be the hub that helps student organizations function within the university ecosystem. So OSL does not get in a room and come up with fun ways to make EMS and events more complicated every week. We do not get in a room and try to make things more difficult with concur and buy it. I promise there is no secret agenda. All we want to do is everything we can so that you can have the most access within the university to make the experiences you want to have. That's really the bedrock of what we do in supporting student organizations and kind of all of those transactional things that happen. So how many of you have filled out an event form before? And you're like, it goes into kind of like a black hole, and then some nice person named Catherine emails me a confirmation a couple days later and asks me some follow-up questions. That's kind of the stuff that our office makes sure that we provide for all of our student organizations. That being said, that is just one chunk of what we do. How many of you are in a fraternity or sorority? Yes, so that is something our office also does. So Graham Davis is our assistant director. He works with all of our fraternity and sorority communities, council, kind of all of the leadership, the development, the excitement that comes from that community. That's something else our office does. How many of you have been to the Bog? Okay, good. That's something else that our office does. And I have very exciting news. We just got word that some replacement arcade games have been officially approved and will be shipping out sometime this semester. So I think the Bog's also going to get a little bit of an upgrade. Some other fun things you don't necessarily notice is our office got to advocate and make it happen that we have bowling mechanics way more than we used to. So how many of you went down there and there was like one lane working? Our goal is to have like 4 or 5 at all times, which is like huge improvement. So someday it's going to be 8 out of 8, but we're not quite trained bowling mechanics yet. We are also responsible for things like Welcome Week, homecoming, traditions, large-scale events. Are you getting the gist of what student life is? Does this make sense so far? Okay, great. So as part of that, we all work with a whole bunch of specific student organizations as part of our job. So how many of you have heard of Union Board? Okay, great. They did homecoming. So if you went to homecoming, that was a Union Board plan program. Catherine advises them. How many of you are aware of Finance Board? Yeah, there we go. So Naya is the chair, vice chair. They are advised by Sarah, who also works in our office. Greek Council, you had strong presence in here, just FSL in general. Graham advises Greek Council, and then I get to advise you all as student government. So I think something important is the word advise. I am not your manager. I'm not your boss. I'm definitely not your parent. I cannot tell you what to do, and I would never want to. Student government is something that I have always really enjoyed getting to advise, support, be a part of, and see where action takes place, because you all are the elected student representatives to showcase and be the voice of Illinois Tech. So as your advisor, really what my role gets to be is context. So I often sit in the back, and you don't have to ask me questions, but if you're like, do you know anything about this? I will always try to share it. So there's always some fun, unique rules at universities that you might want some context for. I'm here. I will do everything I can to answer them. Maybe SGA is super interested in starting an initiative, and you need to know where to start. What does that look like? So I know I've had some conversations with folks where I have this big question because I think this thing is a problem. Where do I start and who do I talk to get the information to figure out what needs to change? I am here for that as your advisor. That being said, sometimes I'm going to give you information and you're not going to like it. And that's okay, because that's part of the point of student government, right? I walk over here from the MTCC. I was thinking about a couple things that student government has done that kind of I got to support a little bit as an advisor in the past. So how many of you live in a residence hall? Hands up. And how many of you like visiting your friends who live in other residence halls? You know how like during the day you can like tap your ID and just go in and it's really easy to visit your friends because you're all residents? That did not used to be the case, believe it or not. Once upon a time, you could only tap into the hall you lived in if you lived in Row Village North and your friend lived in Row Village Middle. You had to go into Row Village Middle. They had to meet you. They had to sign you in. Also, back in the day, it was a paper form. I'm not making this up. And it was this whole process. And it was really making it hard for people to be able to study together, build community together, have friends come over, kind of all of those things. And so that was something student government approached their advisor, who was not me at the time, but I know the person who was, don't worry. And they were like, how do we make this move? And so we were able to get them connected with residence life, public safety, dean of students, and have a conversation about what does this look like? What are the concerns from the university? Why does this policy exist? And where could we kind of advocate for this to give us more access to one another as a community? And so that's also why I'm sure you've noticed it doesn't work after midnight, right? You can't just tap in any residential building on campus because that was kind of the, well, here's why secure access is important. Here's kind of the pieces of it. So as your advisor, I'm here to help you work through those things. I won't be able to overturn university policy independently. If I could, every student org would have a black card and I would not worry about any of your purchases ever. And I would give all of you dedicated offices, right? That would be my dream. It makes everybody's world 10 times easier, but we have to operate within the system that we're in. So that's kind of where I really view my role, is to be here as a sounding board, a place to help you come up with ideas, a place for you to advocate, a place for you to build connections with one another, as well as other areas of the school, other departments, other offices, people you might not even realize you want to have a connection to who are also equally invested in your success. How'd I do for an elevator pitch? Yeah. My Kaplan pitch people, you'll have to give me my report after. Does anyone have any questions? I was that thorough. So how about this? What I will say is if you do have questions, my email is everywhere. I'm very easy to find. If you search like Patrick IIT, I think there's 2 of us now that are faculty staff. So make sure you find the one that works in the MTCC. My last name is Fina. I think my friend works in tech support, so not quite the same thing that I do. But you can also email him. He'll probably help you wherever he can. And if you ever want to meet, if you ever want to have a chit chat, regardless of what your position is in SGA, like I am more than happy to always make time. I might not be able to respond to emails 24/7, 365. I try to get to everything within a couple days. And I really try to make sure that if you all want to have kind of like ideation session, if you're a senator and you want to pitch something to your committee, if you're a committee chair and you're trying to figure out how to get your committee excited about a project that you're interested in, my door is always open for all of those things, as is the rest of the student life staff. All of us choose to work at universities, right? Like we want to be here and help support you all and see the dynamic impact that you're going to have. And if you're ever in doubt about my motives, I promise you, if I did not deeply care about SGA, I would not be here on Wednesday nights, okay? Makes sense. I promise I have a rich and fulfilling life outside of my job. But this is a really cool part of it. And it's a place that I think some fantastic work has come from this campus to change for the better. And I hope to get to work with all of you throughout the year and see what happens. Yeah? Yay! Okay.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Next we have a presentation from Nikhila.
I should warn you, I'm not a good public speaker, so if I don't look at any one of you, don't I'm not being rude. don't think there's anything down there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you how to be an effective senator and why you should care about it. So firstly, what is the Senate? It's just a collection of students who care about their campus, who want to make improvements. And yeah, you are the face of the other people who are not here, but you're trying to help them. And the way you would do that is that you would voice your perspectives, draft resolutions, just basically take initiative. Why should you care? Okay, so there's three main reasons as to why you should care. Well, firstly, you're developing your professional skills. You're in a professional setting. That's self-explanatory. You're also developing a professional network. You get to talk to so many people, so many different majors, and like just Patrick and just other people, not the students. And you're improving the university. You might not notice it, but it's small changes that you're making that have a lasting impact. If you are a senator and you don't do much, it's not just a thing that you can put in your resume, because what did you do? You served as a senator, but you did nothing. So often it is encouraged to get involved in diverse things to be well-rounded. This may be valued by you, but in many professional cases, no one really cares about this stuff. So as you are a student pursuing a degree right now, what your story is, what your journey is, it becomes a narrative for you. So if you've already decided what you want to do, then it might be easier. I don't even know what this is. Give me a second. Okay, I think this is being edited right now, so I'm not gonna go through that. What defines a senator? Well, you are the main focus of the student government. Whatever committees you decide to serve on, try to be proactive in them. And what is your senatorial position? Is it by year, college, DEI? That's what defines you and your role. What is your story? So what inspired you to become a senator? These are things that you would keep in mind when you are trying to take initiative. It's like, why did I become a senator? What is my motivation? You should, what do you want to do as a senator? This is the time to think about these questions. And this is a little bit about me. I was a senator last year in 2023 for College of Science, and I didn't do anything. So that's not on my resume, because I was very quiet. I did not like talking in front of people. I still don't, but I'm trying. Yeah, I didn't do anything valuable until now. I'm the VP of research, and I'm also the chair for the student committee on research. And what I'm trying to do is bridging the gap between students and faculty in terms of being involved in research, because a lot of us want to stay in academia. And if you've noticed, I know I did, there is a gap in communication between ongoing research on campus, things like that. And I wanted to bridge that gap. And yeah, that's how I got here. What is the process of being an effective senator? Okay, so the first thing you would do is explore, find problems that you can identify around campus, gather evidence and information, and then you would share all of the information that you have gathered with everyone in this room so that you can build a network. You can also get different opinions and perspectives. And then you would start to think of a solution on this problem that you have just identified. And then you would start delegating tasks. You could either make a committee, you could decide to work on your own. Mind you, this is not just limited to people in this room. You can get opinions from like your friends who are not in the SGA. And yeah, at the end of the day, you will execute and develop the solution presented here, and I'm sure the VPs and OSL would be glad to help you with your solution. So there's two types of senatorial actions. You can either write a resolution and lobby. That would be something that Derek and Rizwan can help you more with. So resolution is basically just think, call for action. You can also do that by an open letter addressed to everyone in this room. And then plan and execute your solutions. Realistically, you start now and your term ends at the end of next semester, so you have until May. And it's nice to see that we have so many freshmen here because you technically have 4 years. You can, keep running as to be a senator. But yeah, just identify problems, think of a solution, share that with everyone else, and I'm sure you would make a great senator. Yeah, you have to provide weekly updates. Ask for help and show up to these meetings. That is one of the most important things, is to be proactive, show up where you can, and take initiative where you can.
Thank you, Nicola. I'm glad to see Jacob still takes credit for that.
Of course he does.
All right, so I'm gonna ask that we gather kind of on these back 3 steps, and I ask Patrick to take a quick picture of everybody. And then before we move, after that, we're gonna break off into committees. I'll say this again later, but in front of all of you guys, I will be meeting with the Campus Life Committee. Naya, you'll be joining me, and with anybody who marked down Campus Life. Research, you'll be with Nikhila. Academic Affairs, you'll join Andrew for now, until Ashan gets here. And then DEI, you're with Reswan. Engagement, where's Ajay? Right there. Engagement, you're with Ajay. I'll also post the list up here, but first, Patrick, would you take a picture? Everybody kind of condensed in this
Who
little.
has a good iPhone? Or an Android, either or.
No, it's okay.
Just wipe the camera once.
So.
I have the 13 Pro Max. I think
Oh yeah, we're gonna use it.
that was bad, right? Jacob kept editing the speaker notes as I was speaking.
You're going to want to make sure that you are within that depth.
You didn't say your thing.
Kind of
I was in the back.
out there.
You guys want to spread out on the back? I appreciate it.
Should be enough room. Then I think we're doing a really good job of windowing. Great work, everyone. Unless like a group rest have done. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll do a couple more. Do you think portrait will work this far away? Well, sure. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. Let's move closer, but the white balance looks better. 1, 2, 3. All right, there's about 7 of them. 1 of them has to be.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll just break to committees. So if you guys are on Campus Life, you can come right up front. I'm gonna put up the list again. DEI, you're with Reswan. Research over at
I mean,
that's gonna be Sean, but he's
I don't know where Sean is.
Yes, classified. So research affairs, not Campus Life. Campus Life? Campus Life.
guys, DI, why don't you fill out these seats?
All right, guys.
We'll get started.
Should I wait for?
I don't know, but work
Yeah, but we usually just do committees like together because it's so intertwined.
Where's the rest of the DI?
I don't know what to say, guys. We meet outside of the
For academic affairs?
summit meeting time, so I'm not sure what to do. I'm just gonna go. Because I wasn't there on the day that they took the oath. I had to do it next week. I was sick. So I was the only one standing in line.
I saw you with Naya and I was like, oh, they're gonna take a picture. Like stars. Let me go to that. Okay. So DEI basically, it's a relatively new committee that the SGA has. It has like at Illinois Tech we have different places, sexuality. Okay. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah, join us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically. But I think it's supposed to go to Angel for now. Like, what we're gonna do is like over the semester we're gonna build events. We're gonna identify problems and we're gonna do events. And bridges the gap between these communities. Because one of the main things that I saw my 4 year at Illinois Tech is that like for example we're here from all different countries, but people tend to like stick with their own like group. Like if someone's, if people are from like, I saw people from Spain coming in and they're all the same group. Like they never like diversity or they feel uncomfortable. So these are the things, right? So last year what we did was we did a bunch of events. I think you might recall like UB Taste of the World, where they took different clubs like the African club, the BSO, the Black Student Union. They took like Pakistani student union and like they all came together. They did a cultural function where like they danced, they shared like the food from different countries. So that's what we're gonna do. That's one of the things, right? So when those come in, that's the logistics. That's when I need you guys to give me ideas on what we should do, and then I'll like give you guys a budget, and then you guys will find vendors for that day. So what people is all to basically get a man on the ground. The second thing, which is the most important thing, is you guys have to identify problems that like different students face. So these problems could be like discrimination, right? A lot of people might feel discriminated by students or from RAs or from teachers. Like professors might value less, right? Like they're treating you indifferently. One of those could be like there's a club. They bring us a lot of problems. One of the problems last year was that they felt unsafe in comments. So like for example, some girls they felt unsafe in comments, or like there were strangers coming and sitting down with them. And so what they wanted to do was like they wanted to like incorporate some kind of training into the common staff. For example, do you guys know what an angel shot is? Or I think it's either an angel shot or they can also use Ask Angela. So it's like when you go to like a bar and you ask for they ask for shots, right? So if you ask for an angel shot, that means the bartender will know that you're in trouble, that like someone is stalking you. So they'll like just call 911 for your sake, and they'll like give you like say like they're gonna be, oh, come on this side. That's what angel shot is. So she wanted to incorporate some of those things. So what I will have you do is like you guys have to like first of all, your first task would be like going through like a list of all the campus organizations that you will find them like suitable. Identify all the like cultural, religious, or what's it called? What's it called? Identity clubs. So whether it's Prism, whether it's like the Jewish club, whether it's like the Indian club, and then you'll basically be in contact with all of them and say like, oh, what are the problems that you guys want to work on, and we'll identify a common set of problems. Okay, your oh, let me actually get into let me forward a screenshot to all of you. This is the problem. These are some of the problems that the Prism Club sent us, and I want you guys to verify how accurate are these problems and what yes, I think that could be a very good first step. And then, like, of course, after I share this, I'll come to you and I'll say this. So you guys want to do as senators, right? I was So one of the problems, for example, they said they want policies for students to be protected against dead naming or misgendering or misuse of pronouns. Okay, and we have to identify basically how many times that has happened, like how many people actually faced that.
that on campus, who are the people who are misgendering them or using them. By changing, they wanted gender neutral bathrooms on different floors. I know IIQ was trying to work on those. I don't know how far that went.
I know they have a few, right?
Gotcha. They remember splitting across both Kasich and Cunningham. So I think that's what they're talking about. So we could see like, yeah. Oh, I think Derek, I think Andrew is taking care of your committee, so you can join them. Okay, sure. Just to make sure. Place with non-allies. Okay, so they wanted to improve housing policies. So like non-gender or non-binary people would not end up in housing that was like only male or only female. I think that was one of the problems that they had accessibility. And of course, like these things, these you guys are free to choose which one you want to work on, you know. But the first thing is we just have to like sit down with all of these people and identify the problem. So is that like possible? You guys got a good gist of what we're gonna do over the next 2 months, 2 months that we have. Okay. So over next week, before the next semester, does anyone have would anyone like to open like a group chat? Oh, what's up? Yeah.
Club wants to present today.
I think we should call everyone back and I think we should like present it. But provided that you guys would be okay that if they present, we have to tell the other club that
We're not expediting their process. We're not voting.
Yeah.
We did not make any promises about voting.
Oh, okay.
So there's 16 clubs that know us before. And I didn't know the changes were far ahead. They went so late.
It's like Derek said like we have to do something last semester.
Okay, that makes sense. So are we gonna bother in the orgs that already tried next semester? Or are we just gonna make them fun?
I personally wanted like that we can implement our we can like next week's one a full org presentation. That's what I.
Who is on academic affairs? That's campus.
That's campus.
Who is on academic affairs?
Ken,
Who is your man? Your knight in
Ken,
shining.
do you guys all have like GChat, Google Chat?
Whoever is on Zoom. All right, so here is what I would like somebody to take charge of over the next week. So I would like a piece of resolution that's going to be presented next week, which by the way is midterms week. So our meeting will be virtual and it will be very short. So you'll just have to pop on, vote, and then leave. You can see that? Perfect. So okay, so last February, we decided to change our system of how we approve student organizations. Most of you don't remember how we used to do it. Who's the freshman in here? Okay, so this doesn't matter to you, but it does, but the past doesn't matter to you, is what I'm saying. So this is the new system. OSL is going to receive potential student organization proposals up until week 6 of the semester. We're now in week 7, so Graham is no longer accepting people reaching out to him asking to start a new organization, and he's deferring them for next semester. From week 6 to 8, Office of Student Life will get the final details, organize them into a group, and make sure that all their criteria is followed. In week 8, by week 8, OSL will send the student government a list of all the potential new organizations, and then student government will review them and vote on them no later than week 10. Does that seem reasonable to all of you here? Okay. Here are the outstanding things, and this is why I invited Naya to this meeting. Finance board. You don't have to answer this now, Naya. I'm just like reading it out loud. Doesn't make sense for finance board to host a hearing in week 11 utilizing the submitted budgets. Each student organization turns in like a single page proposal sheet. They turn in a budget and they turn in a constitution. And all of those, the Committee of Campus Life can review, and then the Greater Senate can review before approval. And our job is to make sure that there's not any duplicity and that their mission and vision is clearly stated. Oh, if it's not clearly stated, it's a reason to deny, because we care about their mission and vision, and we care that we're not approving 6 cybersecurity orgs or 6 whatever orgs. So those are kind of the questions we want to tackle. And what I need from somebody who would like to work with me on this, and all of you guys are invited, but I'm really only looking for one person to take the lead and then the rest of you to kind of offer feedback, is to write this up, max 2-page resolution. It won't take much. I can send you drafts of other ones. That just outlines this and outlines, does this make sense? Our reality check from Naya. Would that even be a possibility to have a special hearing on the 11th week? Okay, so we'll write that in and we can argue about it later if arguments come up. And then including this, here's my question for you guys. Between the weeks of 8 and 10, after it's approved by Graham and it's sent to student government, right? And before we vote on it, how should we review the student organization proposals as a committee? The Campus Life Committee should have some aspect in reviewing the proposals before they're sent before the Senate. So should we have, much like the Finance Board does, one of you meet with a student organization, just make sure all the boxes are checked and say, okay, in my opinion, you're good to go. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. And then when it's presented before the entire Senate, somebody who met with them, let's say Kyle met with one of the orgs, he can say, okay, yeah, I met with them. They met all the requirements in my view. This is what they told me about their mission. I think they should be approved. And then on to the next one. As you can see, there's a lot right now. No. About 2 more hours. No. I say we're 5 minutes out. So that's my question for you guys. What do you think? From no experience to 100 experience. Jordan, right?
Yeah.
JJ?
What kind of requirements are you talking about? Are we giving these people like a list to fill out? So when you say requirements, is it like what is your organization has to do? Guys?
So they're required to have a budget that makes sense and is not gibberish, because Naya and the Finance Board doesn't like gibberish. They're required to have a proposal which has a specified layout set by the Office of Student Life. And so you'll be able to read through that and it's like, okay, if you don't answer this question clearly, why would we approve you? Because some of the questions are like, what makes your org unique? If you can't answer that question, why are you an org, right? And so the job of like the senator of the Campus Life Committee would be to meet with them and say, you guys need more specificity here or here. Or maybe you guys should consider, because this is so like a different org, to reach out to the other org on campus and see if you guys can work with them. And if they say, no, we really want to do our own thing, maybe they just will alter their presentation. But your job is to be like that first screen after Graham. Graham's not judging them based off their merits. He's just purely saying, okay, that's an interesting idea. Fill out all this information, and then we'll pass you on to student government after week 8. So does that answer your question, JJ? Okay. Any
system before this?
So the system before this was the orgs would come, give a 5 to 10 minute presentation on basically their proposal, and then there would be 5 minutes of discussion, and then the Senate would vote.
I believe that your first vision would be better because none of us want to sit down through a 5 to 10 minute presentation that would shorten our time at a meeting.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good one, 71%.
I think that's very reasonable, Brody.
I think honestly, based on the amount of student boards that are standing right now, we could send one person each make a video, look at their own organization and give a presentation. That makes sense.
I think so. That does make sense.
Say like, I go to this org, he goes to org 2, he goes to org 2.
Yeah. I think that's generally the best idea. Yes, right up front.
Yeah, I feel like more than one person going to one organization and then trying to evaluate if they're good or not. I feel we should probably like one person goes and makes a note of what's what, and then like they come present it to the campus like people.
Okay.
And then we take a vote. So that, you know.
Okay, so how we would have to do this then is we have 2 weeks to do our internal review. Graham will get it to us by week 8, and we have to present them in the Senate. The chair of the Campus Life Committee will say, these organizations have all been approved by the Campus Life Committee. We believe that they're ready and they fulfill the requirements. And then the Senate can just vote on all of them at once. The Senate has a really big issue, which are your peers in the other room. They have a really big issue with one of them. They can say, okay, I want to approve all of them, but this one. And then we can ask that one to come present. But this will make you guys an expert in your domain. That way, they shouldn't have an issue with it. Okay, that's okay. I wasn't doing anything. Present to Campus Life people. Does this follow what you guys were thinking? Bulk?
I agree.
We good? So who would like to take charge in writing?
Friday, what again?
The resolution. I'll work with you guys, but JJ? How about somebody else? What was your name again?
It's Meenakshi.
Meenakshi. All right, who would like to help Meenakshi?
I would like to.
You three?
How
do you spell your name, Meenakshi? YAILIN. I'll get it. Anybody else? Anybody else? MINI. JJ. So I will try to connect you guys in some way. The Slack link will come out later tonight, so you can join that. And then I will connect you guys, and I'll send you some samples, and I'll send you the basic skeleton of what we want to write. And your job would be to combine it into a resolution format that states what we talked about in this meeting. And then you'll send it to me, and I will be brutal in editing it and giving you critiques, but this will give you guys great experience. Yeah. And I would love if all of you guys could meet on this. I'm going to open it up to all of you guys. but as a general rule, Kyle, I'm crowning you leader because you're in the middle.
Yep.
So it will fall on your shoulders if it's not done.
How are we gonna get numbers, okay?
I'll send out a Slack link. I'll connect you guys once you join. Don't worry about that. But once all of that is on your shoulders, it's yours. And so you can meet with these 5, you can talk to anybody else in there, but it will be primarily your duty to get it done.
Deadline?
Monday.
Right.
Or Tuesday. I'm lenient. Any questions? JJ.
Good question. But we have questions about like statistics, like you're saying in both of 2/3, 1/3, what are you talking about? Did we ask you?
Oh, entire Senate. Oh, here, let me make this. So all student orgs approved as one. Does that make more sense?
I just want
So we're,
future if we have questions about what do we ask you? We email you if we have questions about what this is saying.
what is supposed to say? Me.
Well, we're meeting with them.
I'm the chair of the campus life committee from now and evermore. No, just kidding. But on this, me. End all be all is me. I will send this. I'll add more details, more specificity, more skeletony, and I'll send this out in the Slack, in the campus life chat, which all of you guys will be in by end of tomorrow, probably, because I know everybody has lives. And if you have any questions, you'll literally just be able to go on there and be like, Derek, what the hell does this mean? And I can answer your questions. All right, let's go back in there. 8:21. Wow. This gives me some time. We're adjourning and then I can, yeah.
Okay, cool.
We good? We ready? Adjournment?
You guys as senators, each week you and say CTV last week. Now the progress is. By the end, and then of course there's like senator awards that we have next semester. That's when like I think that should be more than enough for today. You know, I gave you a lot to process. Just like dedicate a small amount of time each week. You know, it could be like an hour a week. That's when you're gonna get it all done. But like don't like put it off till like later. Okay, just send out those emails because it's pretty basic. It's just communications. You know, nothing more. And then once you identify the problem, the exec board can help.
I know we already crossed the $300 mark.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
I can set up a.
Abrar. Krishna. Nice to meet you all. Well, best of luck.
For the spokesperson.
All right. I think we're ready to kind of gather back together here. So if you guys want to pop a squat, we only have one thing left.
Yeah, well, you guys can like talk with Shreya and then divide it among yourselves. Maybe you guys can take it in.
Rezwan. Hi, Nikhila.
There's probably something else.
Perfect. So our next and final step is adjournment. For those of you who haven't been here for this, one senator makes the motion, one senator seconds it, no opposed, we move on. So do I have a motion to adjourn? Ishan, Sadupta seconds. Any opposed? Great. All right, we're adjourned. If you have any questions for anybody, now's your time to ask them. If not, good night. I will see you next week virtually. And join the Slack when you get the link. Join the Slack when you get the link. Midterms.
Oh yeah. Next week is so bad.